Flash is back after a 2-week break, and with Barry fresh out of prison, Team Flash tries to find bus matter number 9 in hopes to get ahead of DeVoe. Hey guys, my name is Jobi-Wan and welcome to the channel in a galaxy far, far away. If you're finding me for the first time, I do weekly Star Wars, Marvel, and DC videos. Hit that subscribe button with notifications on to be on alert for future videos. Also, I am kind of sick, so if I sound sick or I sniffle a lot, then that's why. So, I wasn't expecting the trial and prison storyline to carry on after Barry was out of prison. I thought that we were done with that. It was over. There was no going back, but boy was I wrong. Barry was basically temporarily kicked off of CCPD due to the general public not believing that Barry was innocent. It almost seems kind of odd that the writers would want to dabble further into the storyline because it sort of seems like at some point Captain Singh and the CCPD will learn that Ralph used his powers to disguise himself as DeVoe and thus would put Barry back in jail. But it's sort of good because it still presents this challenge that Barry has to face and struggle with even though he's out of prison now. But sort of the temporary fix for Barry as he's unemployed is that he will be Ralph's assistant private investigator. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some of this actually play out. It probably won't, judging that a storyline like this won't really have major significance in the back half of the season. I'd expect a storyline like this to have an episode to itself where Barry and Ralph team up and do some PI work, but again, it's probably too late in the season, so I'm 95% sure we won't see Barry do as much, if not any, private investigator stuff with Ralph. So on to DeVoe and the 9th subject. DeVoe's new body, which is Becky Sharp, is dying, so he needs Izzy's body. Team Flash get to her first, and they try to train her to hone her powers to defeat DeVoe. The plan doesn't work, and boom, DeVoe takes Izzy's body in a really heartbreaking moment because Izzy and Ralph had a bond throughout the episode, and it sucks that she's dead now or that her body has been taken over by DeVoe. Technically, she is dead, but that also pushes Ralph to stopping DeVoe once and for all. I also want to note that the episode description stated that Ralph was going to stop being a hero. I stated in my last episode review that Ralph semi-quitting was becoming repetitive, even though depending on how you interpret it, that's how he'll build as a character. Regardless, he actually doesn't quit or back out. He's all in, and I'm glad he didn't back out of a fight and had a character who was in the same predicament as him. And in the scenes that they shared, you could see the growth in his character, and instead of playing on fear, we were playing with strength and courage in the face of danger. So double thumbs up for that. Last, the cerebral inhibitor was introduced in this episode. Harry and Cecile had a subplot where he built a device to help Cecile sleep because she could hear Joe's thoughts at night. That device led to the creation of the cerebral inhibitor. The device Savitar said was going to be used against DeVoe, not defeat him. So his word choice back in the finale was a safe way for the writers to not get ahead of themselves. This device was used to fight DeVoe, but I never actually said that it would be used to defeat him, so that doesn't really rule out that the inhibitor won't be used to defeat DeVoe. Like Cisco said, it worked the way it should have worked. They just need to improve upon it. Plus, they also didn't account for Kilgore's powers. So this is where Marlize comes into play, who's still not 100% on board with DeVoe anymore. You can definitely see that DeVoe's body jumping is messing with his mind. He's becoming more volatile and out of control. He's less calm and collective during the first couple of episodes when he was in his original body. So with this tension and conflict between husband and wife, you can already guess that Marlize will betray Clifford and build, or at least help Team Flash improve their cerebral inhibitor. Some small things I want to add before I get into Easter eggs. DeVoe's endgame, still don't know what it is. We probably wouldn't know at this point what it was compared to other seasons, but pretty much it just feels like he's appeared in a lot more episodes than previous villains, mostly because he hasn't been in the shadows like previous villains, so the more you see him, the more you want to know what his plan is, but they keep dancing around it, and it's becoming completely uninteresting at this point. They had a good idea and build for his character, but the execution isn't holding up anymore. Also, DeVoe doesn't suck up Ralph's powers when he had the chance. He probably doesn't need Ralph, or the writers didn't want Ralph's powers gone during this episode. He probably doesn't need Ralph's powers at the moment, or the writers didn't want Ralph's powers gone during this episode, but either way, it still kind of feels weird because judging by DeVoe's plan, he wants all the 12 metahumans, so he's going to suck up Ralph's powers eventually, and I was kind of hoping that Ralph and Barry pointed that out at the end of the episode, and maybe there was this whole mystery of why DeVoe didn't take Ralph's powers, but you know what, who cares. And last, it does seem like the bodies DeVoe jumps into are incapable of handling all of the powers of the bus metas on top of his ginormous mind. So it seems like Ralph and Barry would be suitable hosts because both characters have perfectly fit bodies. Barry can heal really fast, and Ralph is somewhat indestructible. You get the point. I don't really think DeVoe wants Barry's body, probably Ralph's, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so now for the Easter eggs. Iris calls Ralph "ya nasty," and if that sounds familiar, perhaps you heard it on That's So Raven.
I heard that, you nasty. You nasty. You little nasty. Little nasty.
Ralph suggests that they call Izzy Soundwave, however Cisco mentions that it's already taken by a transformer. The fiddler in the comments was actually a man whose name was Isaac Bowen. Ralph states that killer robots sometimes come out of the elevator before Izzy leaves, referring to the crossover when Earth X Metallo entered into Star Labs. Izzy's blog, if you pay close attention, had a post that said that she was in Blue Valley, but she canceled her trip due to a starfish situation. And if you remember, Blue Valley is the home of the original Wally West, the redheaded Wally West, and that's where Wally went when he left in episode 3 of the season, came back, and City faced off against a starfish, a reference to Star Wars the Conqueror. This last one is somewhat weird. It could be a coincidence, but probably not, judging by the timing. So the title of the episode is Subject 9, and that's a reference to an episode of The Fringe with the same title. The Subject 9 of that episode, the character who's named Subject 9 on The Fringe, was played by none other than Chadwick Boseman, who is currently playing T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, which his solo movie came out on February 16th, and this episode aired on February 27th.
Coincidence? I think not!
Even if this episode aired without the 2 weeks break, it would have aired on February 13th, the week leading up to the premiere of Black Panther. So either way, I feel like the writers took advantage of the title of the episode, the fact that we're on the 9th bus meta, and the fact that Black Panther was opening in theaters that month. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the Black Panther tie-in was intentional or just a coincidence? And also, what are your thoughts on this episode? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for future Flash videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and other than that, my name is Jobi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you, and have a marvelous day from the LA to the DC.